guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Why Are the Dutch So Good at E-Commerce? This is from a channel called Brim, so check it out. I didn't know that the Dutch were good at e-commerce. They're good at a lot of things, so it doesn't really surprise me. So let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
On paper, the Netherlands shouldn't be an e-commerce heavyweight.
Because they're
It's
small.
one of Western Europe's smallest countries, roughly the combined size of Connecticut and Massachusetts, with a population
That's so
barely
tiny.
over 18 million. And yet, a
It's
disproportionate share of Europe's digital commerce ecosystem.
Smart.
The explanation can't simply be size.
No, it's just because they're
Sure,
smart.
bigger markets tend to produce bigger companies. But the Netherlands has fewer people than the Paris metro area,
That's
a smaller
insane.
economy than Poland, and, unlike the US or China, no vast domestic
How
market.
could they
of
have a
hundreds
smaller economy that's somewhere like Poland that's like, I don't know, 4 times bigger than them?
of millions to help companies scale? So, the answer must lie deeper. Something about the country itself that makes online business easier to scale than anywhere else.
I wonder if it sounds
The
like it has
real
to do with the
explanation
laws or
comes down
something.
to 4 structural advantages. Let's start with geography. The country sits at the heart of Europe's wealthiest consumer corridor, the so-called Blue Banana, stretching
I've
from
never heard of that.
Manchester to Milan. Within 500
What
kilometers
does
of the
that
Dutch
mean?
border live 170 million consumers. Widen that radius to 1,000 kilometers, and the number jumps to 244
Okay.
million. From a single warehouse in the Netherlands,
But wouldn't that apply to a lot of countries that are in the Blue Banana Belt? Wouldn't that apply to like parts of Germany, maybe like Denmark, France as well?
a parcel can reach London, Paris, Frankfurt, or Brussels within 24 hours by road. It's why companies like Nike and Samsung base their European distribution hubs here.
Oh, it's
One
there.
warehouse can serve half the continent
Oh.
overnight. That geographic advantage is
Okay.
amplified by infrastructure. The Port of Rotterdam is Europe's largest seaport, moving more than
Oh, that's true.
397 million tons of cargo in 2024. Far ahead of Antwerp and
wonder why-
Hamburg, which
yeah.
together
I
handle
would assume like especially like the Hamburg one, because it's in Germany. Germany is huge, like it's just like a bigger country with a huge economy. So it kind of surprises me though that, you know, the Port of Rotterdam still is kind of like bigger. I think like it moves more things, because shouldn't it be Hamburg? Like that's weird, but it's still location basically. It's
around
gotta be.
340 million tons. 40 minutes north, Amsterdam Schiphol Airport ranks as the continent's 5th largest cargo hub, handling 1.49 million tons of freight in 2024,
Oh.
an 8% jump as global e-commerce volumes surged. Together, these two hubs form something unique, a half-hour drive between Europe's biggest seaport and one of its biggest cargo airports, both plugged into the same national logistics grid.
It's just
A
location.
dense network of
And good
roads,
infrastructure, of
railways,
course.
and inland waterways
Yeah.
that pushes goods deeper into Europe faster
without the
than almost
infrastructure,
any
you don't have
competing route.
anything.
The digital infrastructure is just as good. Almost every single Dutch household has access to high-speed internet, among the highest rates in the European Union. The Dutch don't just have the
That surprises me, because I would assume that everyone in Europe has high-speed internet access. Like, what are the places that do not have high? Well, maybe like some rural towns or very small towns in some like very remote locations. But I would assume like almost every country in Europe has it. I would assume. Who
The
knows?
instinct to trade is built into the country's DNA. For more than 4 centuries,
There were
the
merchants.
Netherlands has been a trading economy. The Dutch East India
Exactly.
Company, founded in 1602, became one of the world's first multinational corporations.
It's insane.
It
1602.
pioneered shareholder ownership, created the first modern stock exchange, and built one of the earliest global supply chains, coordinating ships, warehouses, and financing across continents. That legacy still shapes how companies operate today.
400 years
Businesses
later.
are built with cross-border distribution in mind from day one. The domestic market is simply too small to be the end goal, so founders default to designing for
You have
export.
to go. Yeah, it's true. You have to go
Communication
somewhere else.
is famously direct. Hierarchies are loose, ideas are debated openly, and decisions tend to move quickly. For
Love
tech
that.
startups in particular, where rapid iteration is everything, that cultural wiring compounds into a real competitive edge over more hierarchical European markets. The nation also consistently ranks at the top of global English proficiency. It has placed first among non-native speakers 7 times in the 15-year
I guess, of
history
course, like
of the
English, like it or not, it's the universal language. So kind of like everyone has to learn it if you want to do like commerce with everyone else. So,
EF English
it's a
Proficiency
requirement.
Index, and it has never fallen outside the top 3. That removes a friction most European founders can't avoid. Every product page, help center article, and customer email can be written in the working language of internet commerce from day one.
Yeah.
The final pillar you could call government policy. And because that
the
can get
laws.
dry fast, let's frame it with a simple analogy. Imagine you run your own clothing brand. You outsource production to a factory in Tunisia, Morocco, or Egypt. These locations are appealing because labor is cheap and they're geographically close. But importantly, they sit
are they
outside
close?
the EU. When those finished garments arrive in the Netherlands, you don't have to pay VAT at the border. Instead, the Dutch government offers a powerful cash flow tool called Article 23. It lets importers defer VAT on goods coming from outside the EU. Rather than paying VAT up front and reclaiming it later, you simply record it on your periodic VAT return.
That's
For
interesting.
high-volume e-commerce businesses, that shift from paying immediately to declaring later is a major cash flow advantage.
Yeah, of course,
And
you have
this
the money
isn't
right now.
standard across Europe. In many EU countries, importers must pay VAT immediately at the border, locking up capital for weeks or
You have
months.
to pay upfront.
The Dutch system avoids that entirely, giving e-commerce companies far more liquidity to reinvest in stock, marketing, or growth.
I wonder how
When
come everyone
customers
doesn't
place an
everyone
order, payments
I don't know.
flow smoothly.
Like I don't know, how come other countries do not adapt this model? Who knows? I don't know. I don't presume to know what do people do, whatever. But wouldn't you want this? Like, it's better because the businesses in your country are going to grow. But who knows? They must have a good reason.
And stay compliant with EU rules because the Dutch Central Bank was one of the first to issue licenses under the updated Payment Services Directive. That single license then passports across all 27 EU member states, meaning you can handle payments for customers anywhere in the European Union without needing separate approvals in each country. And while passporting is an EU-wide mechanism, getting
Yeah,
the
I would
license
assume-
in
yeah,
the
it's
first
EU.
place isn't equal everywhere. The Dutch regulator moved early, acted quickly, and built a reputation
were
for being
thinking
predictable
ahead.
and founder-friendly, giving Dutch payment companies a head start in scaling across Europe long before competitors in countries with slower, more conservative regulators. I could go
They're
on
always
about the
thinking two
rest of the
steps ahead.
policy stack, from generous R&D incentives to corporate tax on qualifying IP dropping as low as 9% for companies building payment tech and fraud detection tools, or the liberal hiring rules that give highly skilled migrants a major tax break. But at the risk of sounding like a government
big?
spokesperson, the point is simple. The Dutch are doing this a lot better than most
Oh
of their
yeah,
peers.
absolutely.
The Netherlands shows what happens when all these key components point in the same direction. It becomes a prototype for the digital-first economy most countries are still trying to build. When the physical world moves quickly, the digital world compounds even faster. And in the Netherlands, both are engineered to accelerate one another. It's a reminder that e-commerce isn't just about websites and warehouses. It's about the environment that surrounds them. And few environments are as deliberately built for e-commerce as this one.
It's like a combination. It's like a perfect storm but in a good way. Yeah, I think like this, I never really actually thought of this. Obviously, I didn't really know. Again, the Dutch are like so great at so many other things. But, like they have to be good at everything. Like, but I understand, like, it's not they're good because, chances were like this, we're going to be good. No, it's everything has been, they were lucky. I think, for instance, like in this case, the location of the country, obviously great advantage. Obviously, nobody really thought it was just like, again, they were lucky in that regard. But I think the rest of the things, and especially how to develop like this huge e-commerce like empire, basically, with all those companies, like that didn't really happen by chance. It happened because they were working towards this, and because I think probably it's because of their own. Again, they were like the first ones to sort of have to create basically a multi-dollar company, back in the 16, no, in the year 16, no, it wasn't like it was the 16th century, no, it was the 17th century. So again, they were probably thinking, because again, it's their mentality, it's their own culture. They were thinking ahead, which I think can kind of, I think, summarize like why they're so good at so many things. Is because they can sort of see the future, which is a good thing. And I'm not saying like, oh, they're seeing the future. Like, no, I refer to like seeing the future in the commerce and the sort of entrepreneur way. Even again, 300, 400 years ago, they were able to do this because they were thinking ahead. They were probably seeing the future. They were like, we're going to take advantage of what we have. If we are good at something, like we have to exploit this, because again, that's how we are going to advance, financially. It's how we're going to grow as a country, basically. And I'm happy to 400 years later, 300 years later, that's still that same mentality. It's still alive. Again, they're thinking always like 2 steps ahead. I love that they were able to like do what they did, because they were, the laws, they have like very lax laws from what I could understand, especially when it comes to like tax returns and like taxes in general. They're like a little bit better in that sense than a lot of more conservative countries. And it's a good thing, obviously, because yes, we are thinking that we're going to give people some real little little incentives for them to actually, again, to make a company grow, and like startups and all of that, which again, it's a great thing, because other countries, I think, are not able to maybe like adapt that fast to sort of like the new world, which of course, like, it's incredible. And not only that, but they were able to sort of put their money where their mouth is, in a way, because it's not enough to kind of have the whole, again, to like put it in, oh, we would love to, we would like to do this, we would love to. No, I mean, they're putting that's what I mean when like they're putting their money where their mouth is, because they're actually doing, all the laws that they have, all the regulations that they have are actually backing up with this. And it's obviously, I think usually, well, maybe not necessarily in the Netherlands, but from what I can see, a lot of companies and a lot of startups in the EU are always complaining about how hard it is to actually start a business, or just, having a business in general, just because of the regulations. And I think it's because, again, a lot of countries are a little bit more, maybe not behind, because I think maybe it's not, behind is not the right word, but I can maybe conservative. They're doing it, sort of old fashioned style. And the Netherlands is one of those places in which, no, it's sort of like they are sort of incentivizing growth. They're incentivizing for, companies that grow. They're incentivizing, if you have a business idea and a business model that you want to implement, it's good. It's a good thing. We're going to give you more, as much as we can, in order for you to like achieve, maybe not your dreams. That sounds really corny, but for you to like make your own business, which again, you have to do this by creating laws, and by creating, again, stuff like taxes, stuff like that people want, that people actually sort of see, and not necessarily as it's not this nebulous thing. No, it's actually something that I'm able to sort of like check on paper and to actually do, which again, it's incredible. I love that. But again, all those other countries, and that's what I was saying about the EU, that a lot of people complain about like how hard it is for people to like start businesses all over the EU, because the European Union just has a lot of regulations and a lot of stuff. And I don't know why, because again, they want to, it's because they're doing things different. But I don't know if when people talk about this, they also like talk about the Netherlands, because, if you put it like this, it's like, oh my God, the Netherlands is incredible. If you want to start a business, like, go to the Netherlands. They have like so many incentives. They have like so many great things that, yeah, you should definitely move there. And I'm talking like probably other countries, like it doesn't matter if you're from another country in Europe, like you have to move your base, like your operation there, because it's going to be good. And well, maybe I'm not the only one that has thought of this. I didn't know that so many other companies, so like huge companies, were created in the Netherlands, or again, they even have their sort of like main hub there. But I can tell, yeah, of course it makes all the sense in the world. So I think, like, honestly, if I'm other countries in Europe, I'd be thinking, oh come on, like we have to do things a little bit different, because come on, if Netherlands is sort of like so far ahead that I think probably I would be like, I don't know, checking out my laws and something and see like what I can do to attract like businesses and to attract more people to like want to invest in my country, or like, again, to like move their base of their operations here. Just because again, it's a little bit, like look at what they have achieved, and it's all because again they have a different mentality. So I think if anything, that should maybe like tell something to a lot of countries in Europe, just because again, like look at the difference. Probably like that's why there's a reason why the Netherlands is the Netherlands, but there's no reason why they shouldn't have something, a little more competition, or other countries couldn't follow ahead. Like you could also like attempt to do this. Maybe people are trying to actively change this. I have no doubt probably that's that's the case, because if you see this, you actually see how good it can work. It's like, yeah, sign me up. Like let's change every law. I want to be the Netherlands in the future. And that was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.